Okay.
in my daughter.
All right. Okay. I'm going to just start with welcoming you, and then I'm going to ask you to tell us about that, and then you can go ahead. All right. If you're ready. Just so I can cut the recording nicely. All right. Welcome. This is the Parental Alienation Omnibus number 2. And with me is Reverend Gail Rock. Welcome here. And please tell us more in your experience about the effects or the emotional effects, psychological effects that alienation has on children.
Yes, thank you, Sinta. Yes, as a mental health practitioner, I I'm concerned about the effects that parental alienation has on these kids as they grow into adulthood. They must, I feel like they must live very conflicted lives because they have to live this lie, and somewhere down deep inside of them they must know somewhere that something is wrong. I recently read an article that suggests that their emotional growth is stunted. These young adults have more difficult time forming healthy relationships, making healthy relationship decisions. Just overall maturity is not it's not where it should be at their ages, because they have not had the benefit of growth during some of their formative years. It's like when the brainwashing started, their emotional growth stopped, and so I'm concerned about that. And even though there's not a lot of there's not many studies, because this is such a newly researched phenomenon, we don't know. But I am concerned at what the suicide rates are going to look like, or what they look like.
Yes. We know that alienated children who grow up have problems with their relationships and their bonding with other people.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good thing at any stage to actually tell people that they have been alienated once they are adults? What would the effect be of confronting them with it and telling them, well, do you know that you've actually been actively alienated from me or from your other parent?
Yeah, I I did try that, and I was shut down even further. My daughter did not want to hear it. She got even more defensive, and that pushed us further apart. So that didn't work.
Why would you say they don't want to hear it, not ready for it, or are they really so brainwashed that they can't see the truth about what's going on?
They're so brainwashed. They're so brainwashed that they don't want to hear it because they can't hear it.
Mm.
Um,
They can't understand it.
no, they can't. They can't wrap their heads around it. At that at the point that they are, when they're in the middle of this brainwashing, the truth. I don't know if I don't know how they would do with the truth. They have to they have to stumble across it themselves.
Yeah.
Um, it has to be revealed to them in their own processes. I just think it's too overwhelming. So they're in denial, and they don't want to. Yeah, the truth is just simply too much for them. So they're using all their energy to maintain this idea that their alienated parent is a bad person. And I think that's taken all their mental and emotional energy.
Probably. It's a really interesting situation that you find yourself in, and something that many parents have said to me that I work with is, let's say they reach the stage where their child is in their 20s or even 30s, and they are the alienated parent. The question arises, is it really worth the trouble to keep on working or trying to get my child to realize that he or she has been alienated? If they realize that, the guilt and the shame and everything that they're going to sit with, is that not going to be worse for them? Is the impact of realizing what has been going on not going to be worse, so that it would lead me to believe it's better to rather leave it and not scratch there and not bother and not push for it to be revealed, or for the truth to come out?
Yes, I do believe that. And that is why I am just taking a back seat and trying to let nature take its course and common sense take its course. If it's meant to be that she's going to realize this, then yeah, I can't even imagine living with that fallout of what the truth is. But I definitely want to be there for her when and if that happens, to pick up those pieces. I just think that trying to force that on them by bringing up the subject, it's like it's like trying to teach a kindergartner calculus. They're just not ready for it.
Well, it's a very sad situation, because your child is lost to you, and there's really not much you can do about it without causing more harm.
Exactly. There's really, at this point, is nothing you can do. Basically, I use the tenet, do no more harm. Don't make a situation worse than it is. Take care of myself so that I can be the best person I can be when and if she does come back to me, because she's going to need all the help she can get. So
what stands out, sorry,
Go
what
ahead.
stands out for me very clearly is that we need to nip it in the bud when children are small. It takes immediate and really harsh action to stop it as soon as possible. The longer it carries on, the worse it gets, and the more traumatic it's going to be for that child when they realize what's going on. Because where they are currently in the situation where they're strongly bonded with one parent and alienated from the other, when they realize what has been happening, they most of the time end up rejecting the alienating parent, and then they suddenly sit with no parents, with no close bond with anybody, because there's a stranger and there's one that they are rejecting, or being very angry with about what's happened. So it's an impossible situation.
It is, because you are totally right about nipping it in the bud as soon as possible. The problem is, by the time you realize what's going on, a lot of the damage has been already done. Just the fact that parental alienation is not the first thing you think of when your
Yes.
when your children start acting disrespectful to you. As a matter of fact, mine didn't start that until they were teenagers, and for a long time I attributed that to typical teenage behavior.
Yes.
Which it took me to until I discovered the parental alienation for it to click in my brain. Oh my Lord. And you're right, Sinta, by then years had gone by. I was not one of these people that had a high conflict divorce. I didn't have a high conflict marriage. It was a no conflict.
Yes.
I had no idea what my ex-husband was doing. I didn't. He was sneaky about it, I guess. He was quiet. He didn't tell me. So all this had been going on probably since the day my children arrived, and I've mentioned this before, my children are adopted. So my daughter deals with these adoption issues of being given away, quote, and not being wanted. And then this on top of it, I truly worry about her future.
Yes. Now that's just too much for a person to handle. What can you share with us that you do in the meantime? How do you interact? How do you connect or reach out to your daughter? What do you do in the meantime, knowing that she's probably not going to respond?
I don't.
Do you keep contact with her? How do you
No,
know?
I don't, because she asked me not to. She
Okay.
also moved. I live in the United States, and she moved to Germany. She did write me a letter when she was planning on moving, basically asking me not to contact her, but also stating that she had no idea what to do with her life, what she was going to do. So she just might as well go to Germany. Basically, my ex-husband, her dad lives there. So she did go there to be with him.
Yes.
I don't even have a contact for her. I don't even know what city she's in.
Gosh.
Yeah, and I don't have a phone number for her. So I literally cannot contact her. Now, I do have a son who is also alienated from me, but he does live in my area. Not, he lives about an hour away. And I do have an email address for him. So and he has not requested that I don't contact him. So I do send him, I don't call him, but I do send him cards. I do send him cards for occasions at the place where I know he works, because I also do not know where he lives, and he lives in a big city. I have no idea what his address is, but I do have his email address, and I do know where he works. So I send him email cards and greetings, not often, because I get no response, and I don't want that to look like I'm, overdoing it. So, but I haven't heard from him in several years now.
And you keep at it. Do you keep on doing this? Don't you sometimes feel that you want to just give up and let it all go?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is one reason why I had to give up the last support group that I belonged to, because the support group had a philosophy that just keep on contacting them. I mean, on a regular basis, like every week or something like that.
Yes.
And I could not take it. I couldn't take it, Sinta. I can't take that much rejection that often.
Yes.
Um,
Who can?
Well, I don't know. I guess people can. I guess people can, but I personally cannot. And I told the facilitator, who is my therapist, I said, you have to free me from this obligation, because it is doing more harm to me personally than it is good. So she does understand that, but I'm in the process of finding other support groups right now. And that is the bottom line of what Dr. Roseman said last night on his podcast. In this situation, we need support groups. They make a huge difference. So I have to look for appropriate support groups that focus on my personal well-being, my mental health, and moving on. I mean, of course, we can't move on. I can't erase her from my mind.
Yes.
I don't want to, but I want to be able to live with that and still have a happy life. And that's quite a challenge.
Yes.
But I'm determined to do that. And I recently wrote an article, and it's in Dr. Roseman's magazine, Contemporary Family, about, the title is "You Can Be Happy No Matter What."
Yes.
And you can, but it takes some work. And part of that work is letting go of something you cannot change or control.
That's very nice of you.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Gail. I wish you all the best. It's a really
Thank you.
situation. But yes, like you said, you have to let go, and then also, I suppose, respect adult children's wishes if they don't want to communicate with you, which is very
Yes. Yes, I'm a believer in that. When she said, don't communicate with me, I mean, I have to respect that. I have to. But my son didn't say that, so I can communicate with him.
You can keep on trying, hey? All right.
Yes.
Well, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much.
You're welcome, Sinta.
Interview. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.